Hey guys, this is your girl named Bianca, and today's video is all about how to go from a dysregulated, high-achieving woman to a regulated, high-achieving woman. And I'm so grateful and thankful that you are here, that you're resonating, that you're clicking. I do want to start off with a story of a vision of everything. So, my intentional dysregulation journey, intentional? Not my natural biological, is when I had my son. But the intentional part of the journey is actually, I think it started in November of 2022. It's when I started traveling full time with my family, and we traveled in Florida, and I decided at this same time I was going to start doing the Daniel fast. And if you don't know what a Daniel fast is, it's a 21-day fast that you essentially you do to get closer to God. So you take out everything, like all processed foods, sugar, oils, alcohol, all the things, right? And so when I did that fast, especially at this time where it was like I was shifting a lot of ancestral stuff, I was shifting a lot of community things, I was also shifting our reality in a sense. Our realities were shifting as a family. And that's when I noticed a lot of really intense stuff coming up. And throughout the years I was doing nervous system work, but this is when I was like, I don't even know what's going on. So I kind of honestly, along our journey, I really started like just being like, nah, I don't know what this is, but we're not inviting you into this space. Like, I have things that I gotta achieve, I got things that I gotta do, you are not welcome. And I noticed when it comes to being dysregulated, most of the time we feel like we are not welcome, or the energy of what it is that we're trying to experience is not welcome in our realities. And it's important that you become aware of the things that are sticky, the things that are making you feel contracted, the things that are making you feel overwhelmed, stressed, or brain fog, all these different things, all these different signs that show that you're dysregulated. And really tap into, okay, I'm feeling this, but the regulated version of you is the one that's gonna actually, that wants the goal. Okay, so we're gonna start off with just the basics of like dysregulation. I'm not gonna go too deep into a lot of the different things, but one of the ways that you can know if you're dysregulated is that you're consistently like experiencing like heightened hypervigilance. Your breathing might be off, you might be stressed and overwhelmed all the time, you might be experiencing burnout, you might be like procrastinating a lot to where you're like trying to do things and then things aren't quite happening, and then you kind of like go into like another thing, which is self-sabotage, where you're like, oh, I can't do this, so you create a self-fulfilling prophecy that you're like, I can't do this, so that means that I'm not capable of doing this, and I'm not capable of achieving in this thing. There are very many signs of being dysregulated, but those are a few that I've noticed that are pretty consistent. Also, perfectionism is a form of dysregulation, because perfectionism kind of forces you to be like, oh, if this isn't happening, it's like all or nothing thinking. Like, if this isn't happening this way, then it can't happen at all. And so those are a few of the signs of dysregulation. But the thing that I want to present to you is that you literally, the whole point of growing your emotional capacity is to allow yourself to even experience the experience that you're having in your physical body, in your mind, in your spirit now. Allow yourself to experience what you're feeling and grow the capacity to feel all of the experience that you're feeling. So like, if you're, a simple example, you're happy, you're stressed, you're sad, you're excited. Those are 4 different: happy, sad, stressed, excited, right? And so if you can feel all of those feelings kind of at the same time, and also be mindful of like, okay, this is my goal at hand, this is my thing that I want to do at hand, let me create systems to help me. If I want to rest, I can rest in that system. If I want to achieve and grind in that moment, I can grind in that moment. And I can also still feel this emotion without suppressing it or without like raging out in humanity, right? So it's really about cultivating emotional intelligence. A lot of us were not taught about how to be emotionally intelligent and regulate. And I do believe as high achieving women and, as entrepreneurs and businesswomen and leaders in our communities, regulation is one of the foundational steps, right? And so for me, really diving into my faith and really being connected to God, and then also healing my mind, body, spirit elements, and surrendering every time, like, is the thing that has helped me. So that is a part of what I'm going to be teaching as well. But also just the element of like hustle and momentum and having systems to help you, right? Is really a great way to go from dysregulated to regulated. Some practical ways for you to know if you're dysregulated. Are you feeling tight and contracted, or are you feeling like you're spinning all over the place and constantly hypervigilant and like constantly feel like you're doing things on your to-do list, but then things are not necessarily getting done, and you're also like not able to turn off buttons or turn off your mind or turn off things, or you're like constantly telling yourself you can't do this, and your belief in yourself and your embodiment in the faith of the belief of the thing that you're meant to birth and grow is not happening. If those are things that are consistently coming up in your reality, then that means that you are dysregulated, and bringing back yourself to regulation, to be connected with God, to be able to hear messages from Spirit, to be able to really craft the life that you're wanting, to be able to show up confidently and without going into these responses of fawn, freeze, flight mode, and shut down, and all these different responses that we'll dive deeper into. Um, that's the actual foundation, is being aware and then becoming embodied in what it is that you're meant to do. But most of the time we just focus on the action. We think the action is the thing that's going to actually elevate us into being the people that we're wanting. And I'm telling you, that's not enough. For somebody that's been doing the action for a long time, growing up playing tennis, doing sports, and then like being in different like leadership positions from the time I was like 11, and constantly growing up in a culture that we are pushing ourselves to the point where we're getting sick, that we're getting overwhelmed, that we're comparing ourselves to other races, other cultures, other things. Like, we're not even conceptualizing the fact that there's systemic stuff that's happening. There's a decolonization that needs to happen. There's elements of ourself that need to be birthed, and it's like a whole thing to where we're just looking at, I need to achieve and lead, but you don't realize that there's all of these barriers in place, and also our body stores that energy too. So a lot of the work that we do with Panthera EQ is focusing on how to safely release these energies and also create systems to open up space for us to increase our emotional capacity so that we can show up in what we're meant to be doing, right? And yeah, so if this resonates with you, if you feel called, I do have a sales call for Panthera EQ, and if you feel like you want to dive deeper into understanding like how you can go from being dysregulated to being regulated within this 6-month container, and I feel like the coach and the flow for you, then this is the best way that we can start off with connecting with each other, and kind of I can get a grasp of like what it is that you are trying to go from dysregulated to regulated. But yes, so I'm so grateful and thankful, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.